Greg?
I've got posters made up.
Okay, can we get the snuffer? And a snuff. Hi, how are you? John. Thank you very much. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? You're the better half, right?
No, the other half.
The other half.
I'm Joan O'Brien. I'm with the Wyoming Lioness too.
How are you doing?
It's fine. Get over your way.
George, we can snuff that. We can snuff that.
Years in Wyoming. I want to thank George Marcello for coming here today with his entourage as part of the Canada 500-day walk, carrying the torch of life. As you know, George has been making Canadians aware of organ transplant donations. He's not new to this adventure. He's walked, I think, 3 years in a row now. He did the Toronto to Ottawa walk 3 years ago. Last year he walked across Ontario, and this year he's going to be walking across all parts of Canada. So on behalf of all of you here today, I'd like to thank George for coming and sharing his message with us. And I'm going to ask Rosemary now to come to the microphone and say a few words on behalf of the federal government. Rosemary, as you know, is our MP for our area, and it certainly is a pleasure for her to come here and visit with us today. Rosemary?
Thanks, Ken and George. George and I are going to get to know one another over his crusade through this part. I met with George on Friday in Wallaceburg, and I won't take too much time up because he certainly has a story to tell, and it comes from a recipient, as we have another proud recipient in the crowd as well. I can tell you, though, that on Health Committee, we took up the topic of organ donations. And I thought, well, this is going to be really an easy subject. Who would be against organ donations? Well, let me tell you, I didn't realize it would be such a complicated issue. We are one of the greatest countries. For the 7th year in a row, we've been nominated the best country to live in, but we're the worst in donations. It's hard to believe. 14 out of every million, I believe, is the stats. A survey was done, and 90% of the population is in favor of organ donations, and about 30% have signed their organ donation cards. But I guess the most important part that I will bring forth today with committee is the fact that even though you sign your organ donation card, the family has the last right to overrule that. So that's a real concern that needs to be addressed, because we had one lady, we had several people, but we had one lady present before our committee. Her husband had passed away about 2 years previous. She was still having a terrible time accepting his death because she did not carry out his wishes. He had signed his organ donor card, and at that time she was so stricken with grief, she could not make herself deliver upon his wishes. And she says today that is probably the reason why she is having such great difficulty. So it's so important to educate your family, your friends, doctors as to your wishes. You want to be a volunteer for life. This is the best gift you can give anyone. So I encourage everyone to stop and think how important it is to, at a time when everyone is stricken, to think of someone else that could carry out those wishes for you. I can tell you that when we had people present, the young people, the older people, just so thankful that they've had a second chance in life. So let's get together, stand behind George, give him a word of encouragement, and I know he will continue to do a fantastic job on our behalf. Thanks, George.
On behalf of all the soldier clubs here and the rate players from Wyoming, I'm going to give George a small token of our appreciation right now. George, this is actually a Wyoming pin and a Wyoming spoon, and it's kind of important to us because as our village is going to be amalgamating in 2001, and so this will be a keepsake because there will no longer be Wyoming. We will be known as Plimpton, Wyoming, and I want you to have this as a token of our respect. Thank you very